I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Alex.
Roll call.
Commissioner Butler. Here. Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner Cox.
Here.
Commissioner Phipps.
Here.
Mayor Hall.
Here. Consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will occur unless a council member requests the item to be removed from the consent agenda. If an item is removed from the consent agenda, it will be considered elsewhere on the agenda for this meeting. Prior to asking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, the mayor will ask if anyone desires to remove an item from the consent agenda for public discussion. Would there anybody that would like to remove any item or discuss any item separately? Hearing none, I move the minutes of the regular meeting of April 7th, 2026, the bills and payroll for the first half of April 2026, the mayor's travel expenses, and the special ordinance 2026-2006 revised, approving the interest rate and terms for a $20,000 loan from the revolving loan fund to Tasha Webb to finance the RLF loan for the Little Oaks facility located at 508 Lakeland Boulevard, Suite B, Mattoon, Illinois. Can I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Cox, and roll call.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Before we proceed, we're going to change the order a little bit just because of all the people here for the wake boats. We're going to move it up to the front. I am going to go to the presentations, petitions, and communication section to let people, anybody else that wants to address any other item other than wake boats, I'm going to give them a chance. Then we're going to do wake boats. Then we're going to get back in the regular order. So starting out with presentations, petitions, and communications, this portion of the city council meeting is reserved for persons who desire to address the council. The Illinois Open Meetings Act mandates that the city council may not take action on comments received on matters that have not been identified on this agenda, but the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the matter for action on the agenda for another meeting. Persons addressing the council are requested to limit their presentations to 3 minutes and to avoid repetitious comments. We would also ask you state your name and address for the record, as well as stand when speaking. So what we're going to do right now, does anybody have any comments or any other subject matter other than wake boats that would like to get up front? Anybody else? Probably all scared of them. They probably won't come up. Okay, so we're going to go right into this motion, and we're going to go to number 5, and that would be Commissioner Cox.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2026-5505, amending the municipal code, sections 98.060 and 98.064 to regulate wake boats on Lake Mattoon.
And can I get a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Butler, and okay, so we normally would get comments from the council, but we're going to get comments from the public first. So I don't know who wants to be first, but let's start over here on this side. Come up to the front, please. And we're using the mic for the people that are online so they can hear this. Okay, so go ahead.
My name is Kathy Miller. My address is 861 North 3585 East Road, Neoga, Illinois. We've been on the lake, or on the lake. I know this wakeboard's been an issue. I was on the committee. I honored that position, and I'm grateful for it. I also want to honor each and every one of you on this council to even consider it. Your predecessors, for the last 30 years I've been in front of this council, has never, ever taken this initiative for our water, our quality of water, our residents of Mattoon, and anyone else that needs the lake. I know the wakeboard issue has brought this to surface for this council, but I think you're far beyond the issues with the water quality, and I think you're doing a great job. I thank you for that. I thank you for considering it. I finally feel like I have some hope that we can preserve our lakes and this community to go and prosper and go forward, because we have a lot of new businesses. Water is important, that's our survival. And we need to take care of it. That's all I've ever said for 30 years. Take care of our water source. Thank you.
All right, okay, staying on this side, anybody else in the front row, second row? Okay, come up, front, please.
My name is Ryan Gear. I live at 413 Briar Lane in Mattoon. We also have lake property out of Lake Mattoon. And my first concern is the fact that we keep referring to this as a wakeboard issue or wakeboat issue. I think the issue that council is concerned with is surfing, not necessarily the wake boats. And I think that's getting, the reason for my concern about this is we keep talking about ballasts and shapers and mechanical alterations mentioned in the proposal. I can put ballast in the front of my wake boat to make the wave smaller so I can ski behind my boat. So if we just say this is a ballast issue, you're making me ski with a bigger wake than I want to. So I think that's an issue. If we want a slightly bigger wave that we want to wakeboard behind, then we can do that. It's not as big a wave as the surf wave that we're talking about. So again, I think the issue that the council is talking about is surfing, but I think we're broadening this to include wakeboarding and just other things that have to do with ballast and these things. It's not nearly as big as a surf wave when we're wakeboarding with the ballast and the surf gate. I mean, we have a neighbor at the lake who has a wedge on a ski boat. He can lower that so we can wakeboard behind his ski boat. But with this, the way it's worded, he wouldn't be able to use that wedge on his boat. And that's what it was bought for, so he could wakeboard behind it. My second concern is the fact that we had 7 months and 5 days since we last spoke here. That meeting, it was decided that a committee would be formed and then we'd go forward. The mayor stated, I believe we'd come up with a solution that can work and everybody is going to be reasonably happy with this. That's the last thing we heard from the city council until Friday when the agenda for tonight's meeting was released. The surfing community was caught off guard by this. We were expecting a compromise where surfing could remain on the lake with modifications to current guidelines. So this week I've done some research since Friday. If we want to compare this with Effingham, who had the same issue a few years ago at Lake Sarah, their lake is a little bit smaller than ours, 840 acres to our 1,050 acres. Theirs is a little bit deeper than ours, 19 feet on average compared to our 11 feet. Both lakes are water sources for their cities, and both lakes have homes with septic systems on them. After similar discussions to ours, Effingham chose to not make any wakeboat guidelines. Their rule is boats pulling skiers have to be 50 feet from the shore. There's no depth as well at Lake Sarah. This one's more comparable. Governor Bond Lake down at Greenville, it's 775 acres. It's smaller than ours. The average depth is 13 feet, which is very similar to ours. There's houses around the lake. They did put guidelines in for surfing, 300-foot setbacks for surfing in the South Basin. So we suggested that in the fall. Maybe we just do the south end instead of the whole lake. That's what they did down there. So they limited it to one end. They limit use on holidays when the lake is extremely busy, and they limit the number of permits per year. All of those things were brought up by us in September that I feel like ignored. We offer similar alternatives in September. If the people in Greenville can make it work, I don't understand why we can't. The other thing I keep hearing from when I reach out to city council members is the erosion.
Ryan, just real quick, you're going to have to wrap up pretty quick because you're at your 3 minutes.
Just look across the bay from Camp New Hope where there aren't any wake boats. There's just as much erosion at that end of the lake where wake boats aren't allowed than there is on the rest of the lake. 70 years of wind and waves. All right, we're out there 3 months doing this. 12 months of waves and wind is doing just as much erosion as any of these boats are. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Brian, can I ask a question right quick? You were talking about the other boats and like the size of the wake. Can you maybe describe that a little bit better to me, just for my knowledge?
So
Like the boats that we're describing in our current ordinance, how wide does the wake go?
it's as big as you want it to go. It's one as big as you want to make it. So our boat has ballast that we can fill up with water. It has gates on the side and has a wedge in the back. So if I want to wakeboard, I can just fill up the ballast in the back, which makes a slightly bigger wave because the wave has a better shape so I can jump over the wave better. It's not much bigger. I mean, it's a little bit bigger than a normal ski boat would be, but it's not like the surf wave. If I put the ballast in the back, I put the wedge down, and I put a gate out on the side, that makes a larger wave that I can surf on. Okay? Like I said, I can put the ballast in the front, and I can actually make my boat tilt forward a little bit so it gets the back out of the water, which makes even smaller wave than if I'm just cruising down the lake. So, or I can just put the wedge down, and so we can set up a bunch of different ways. You can add ballast, you can put it here and there, you can move people around in your boat. It just depends on what activity you want to do. So again, I guess my confusion was with the 600 feet, is that if I have ballast in my wake boat, but I want to go wakeboarding, do I still have to be 600 feet to wakeboard because I have ballast in there? Or is that just for surfing? So that's what I think the confusion is for me.
Thank you for the research.
Is that something we can answer?
Yeah, I mean, the intent was definitely for the surfing part of it. When the prohibition for the next year, we were saying you could still use the wake boat to do skiing or to do wakeboarding, so to speak. It's the wake surfing is what is being prohibited. It's what the intent of the ordinance was.
While we're clarifying things, Ryan, we did have meetings. There were public meetings. There was notices. The committee came and made presentations to the city council. There was committee meetings that people were invited to say nothing has happened since months ago. That's not.
I just meant that we didn't know, like, we thought you were going to go along with the recommendation of the committee.
That was never, ever. I made that perfectly clear that committee, the final decision has to be made by the council.
Yeah, I understand that, yeah. Okay.
All right.
You just thought it was going to be a little further.
Okay. Up, who's next?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Tyler Walk. I reside at 221 Circle Drive in Mattoon, Illinois. I also own property on Lake Mattoon at 922 North, 3450 East Road, Neoga. My family's owned the property in the lake now for the past 11 years, and during that time, we worked hard to turn a rundown house into something special for our family and friends. First, I'd like to thank the council for speaking with me in regards to the proposal. I got multiple phone calls from you guys, which I really appreciate that. The opportunity to better understand the concerns behind this proposal. The concerns I have, it seems that the biggest concern is the shoreline erosion. To learn more, I spoke with Alan Tucker about shoreline erosion. He's the owner of Midwest Marine. Alan has over 22 years of experience of installing seawalls, riprap, and docks, as well as counseling on lakes throughout the region. He explained that when shoreline protection systems and docks are installed properly, engineering specification, wake boats should not cause any damage. I know docks and other things were concerned for damage. I have a video camera on my dock. It got hit over 55 times last year between pontoon boats and fishing boats. Last Friday, it got hit twice. One guy actually proceeded to get on my dock. The other one, a child was driving the boat, smacked my dock. The two adults that were standing up in it fishing almost fell out. I mean, obviously a safety concern. Alan also stated that wind is by far the largest contributor to erosion on the lake. That led me to do a little bit of research. Published study of wake surfing in inland lakes. The study found that wake boats operating at 12 miles per hour in 10 feet of water at 100 feet of shoreline creates a wave with erosion impacts comparable to a natural 20-mile-per-hour wind event. In other words, wind and weather are much more significant factors than occasionally, wake boating, wakeboarding, wake surfing, whatever. I mean, you could have 4,000 wake boats on the lake today as many as this, and it's going to cause the same issue. That was a published research study. So I don't know how we're getting to the point that we are. Another thing we need to take into consideration about all the seawalls and everything else, there's freezing falls and shifts and moves with that. Very destructive. I actually run a bubbler underneath mine so it keeps the log moving, so it's not freezing along and lifting docks and doing everything else. Another concern that was raised, I cannot find any reports of an accident in Lake Mattoon over the past decades, caused specifically by wake boats or wakeboarding. What I do see is an increase in traffic from all boats types. Creates challenges when operators are inexperienced or unfamiliar with boating rules. Safe boating education and enforcement would address that concern far more effective than banning one category.
Great.
There's also a concern about algae. I'll answer that real quick. Last year, we experienced record heat and drought.
You're going to need to wrap up as soon as you can.
I will. Yep. Majorities contributed algae growth in the shallow north and eastern ends of the lake. Wake boats cannot even operate safely because the water is too shallow. However, other boats traveling through shallow areas can stir up sediment, which may contribute to nutrient release. Wake boats are not simply the primary cause of algae blooms. In respect, I suggest that this issue is bigger than one type of boat. Shoreline maintenance, weather, lake depth, other quality education and enforcement, all along larger roles. I invite any member of council to come out and see the wake boat firsthand. You may find that it's not a lot of people may assume. It is also a family activity that allows my 14-year-old daughter to safely surf behind the boat. At only 12 miles per hour, it is low impact, family oriented, and something we enjoy together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Tyler, just a quick question. Are there no wake boats at all on the north side currently?
If you own a wake boat, you don't dare go over there. I see
So
somebody.
no one goes over there, or they just don't operate the
No,
wake
no, I
boat
know.
in surf mode?
Correct. That was a concern, I know, because you're thinking that maybe more boats might gravitate towards the south end. If you're a wake boat or anything to be wake surfing, you're already on the south end, so it's not going to increase traffic over there. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stay on the same side, next row. Anybody else back there? Yes, come on, yeah, go ahead.
So. Sorry, I'm not as prepared as everybody else. I didn't know I was gonna be able to make it for the last 2 hours. But I actually live in Oakwood, Illinois. My name's Brian Embry, and my family has property on the lake as well. So, you know, it was pointed out that there's only 12 registered wake boats.
Do we get a right count on that?
Is that right, John? Can anybody, I think it's 22.
22.
22. Okay.
Well,
Well, regardless, so there's 22, and I've probably never seen more than 4 people surfing at a time. And I'm not a surfer. I'm a wakeboarder. I grew up on this lake. You know, my family probably had one of the first wake boats on Lake Mattoon back in 2004. And I ended up competing all over the Midwest. And to blame, you know, 4 people running their boats for what they're intending to do, enjoying their family, is a real disservice to people coming out to the lake and enjoying their family. And, you know, we're contributing to the economy as well. Again, I apologize, I'm not near as organized as anybody else. But they pointed out the wind. I mean, if you've got 4 people at, what, 30 days a year maybe, running for 4 hours a day, I mean, how much erosion is that causing? Probably not a lot. And there are specific studies out there cited that show if you're, I believe, 100 foot. You know, so I'm sorry, I'm not, you know, trying to find that. So there's a SCIRP.org, SCIRP.org, and NMMA.org, and they have specific studies showing that these wake boats really don't cause a problem. And if you go back to Ryan's point, you know, the wakeboard wake is really not that much bigger. It's got a different shape. It's a little taller. It's got a little bit more of a lip to it rather than more of a ramp. And as he said, if I don't run with ballast, you guys are dead. I mean, even if I was wakeboarding, nobody would ever know that I was running with ballast or not. My boat will hold 2,400 pounds of water. So I can get 2,400 pounds of people in my boat. You know, so what's the difference there? And then you throw in, you've got these, the runabout that are running, you got 23, 25 foot boats that don't have any of this stuff. And if they're running 15 mile an hour, they're throwing out a pretty good weight too. You know, so, and then I don't know the difference in energy. I haven't been able to look into that yet. Again, I didn't know I was going to be able to be here for like 2 hours ago. So if you have somebody running 40 mile an hour with a smaller wake, I don't know if the difference in energy is, that might be something to look into as it hits the shore, but there's several studies out there that show the wake boats are not causing the shore erosion like the wind.
Right.
And,
We need to wrap up as soon as we can.
okay, will do.
Okay.
And there's also a lot of scientific evidence out there that shows that we do not cause the algae blooms. It's just not the case. And again, as somebody else said, everybody that knows how to operate their boat, they want to be in deep water, and they don't want to be next to the shore. They just don't. I mean, you don't get your best wave out of your boat that way.
Okay.
It's just, no. Thank you for your guys' time.
Thank you. We had another person back, guys, back in that corner? No? We'll let's come over here on this side, see who wants to come up front. And if we'll go back if somebody wants to, need to.
My name is Roger Walk. I live south of Neoga. We own the property on the lake. I do own a wake boat. We bought our property last summer, just before the lake got shut down. We've been on the lake quite a bit before we bought a place. This summer, I'm planning to do a big deal to my shoreline to keep my shoreline nice. I'm replacing all the seawall. I do understand it's about water quality. I do like it as much as like Mr. Gear did. I don't know how many of you had experience in boats, but I said, wake boats can be just like any other boat. So to ban a wake boat because it can create a surface, it doesn't make any sense. And I have a boat I can take to other lakes. I can't afford two boats. So my son wants to wake surf, which is much safer than skiing and wakeboarding. But a wake boat or a regular boat, they can pull tubers, they can ski, they can do wakeboarding. Wakeboarding is nothing more than putting your feet into some boots on a thing, and you basically, it's like ice surf, it's like water skiing. We don't put any ballast in our boat when we wakeboard. We're not interested in doing any jumping. So trying to put this into banning wakeboarding makes absolutely no sense. As far as wake surfing, you talk about, the thing I liked about what you did was I think we should be farther away from shore than what our committee recommended. We could put these boats are very technologically enhanced. We can put in a buffer on our GPS and we can stay out 600 feet. On Lake Mattoon, if you're out 600 feet, you're going to be in deep water on the south end. The lake is 1,320 feet on the narrowest point. On the south end, it's 1,800 feet on its widest point, according to what I did in my GPS mapping. So staying out 600 feet away from the shore was not an issue, and that also puts you in 15 to 20 feet of water where the original river channel was. I talked to the mayor earlier. We talked about whether this was a big issue, a small issue. I can tell you that we had 3 meetings, 10 people showed up, talked, which I was very surprised that that's all that came, because supposedly this was a big contentious issue. 4 people were positive, 2 people were negative, 4 were neutral. They did have one thing most in common, that the city needs to take care of their own property before they started telling other people what they should and should not be doing in the lake. Because there's, I don't know how many feet of shoreline you own, but that's a big erosion was a huge concern, whether it's back in the coves or it was on the main channel. Heather McFarland was nice enough to come to one of our meetings, and she spoke very candid, very much appreciative. Her biggest comments was septic tanks and farm runoff. I farm. She threw me under the bus. You know what, I do what I can, but I have been fishing out there. I see pretty nasty stuff coming in the lake out of people's septic tanks. You want to start somewhere. I mean, you got to start with stuff like that. The other thing she talked about, which I wrote this down. He said, better preparedness could have prevented most of what happened last year. And the list of what was wrong and what happened is one of those things that everything could go wrong. It did. It was quite eye-opening, and I really appreciated the candor.
Wrap up as soon as you can.
Okay.
Get this.
City property. I don't like people coming with us problem without a solution. You own a lot of city property, Mr. Mayor, you told me you can't afford to maintain it all. My solution to you would be to sell some of it. Sell it, take the money that you sell it for, take care of what you can, the same as a property owner everywhere else would do. And then also that would generate, people would develop those properties, that could create more shoreline protection, and that would help with silting in the lake. So then also you'd have more tax money. So if you have too much property, you can't maintain your banks, sell it, let somebody else who can afford it, and then do what you can with the property you do own. That's what everyone else has to do with their properties.
Yeah, okay.
And
Okay, I have
You
one,
want to clarify that?
one question for you. You mentioned 1,800 feet at the widest point of the lake, and the depth is 15 to 20 feet.
Yeah.
Then you mentioned 1320 is the most narrow.
on the south end, I took my GPS.
Yeah.
I measured the distance across the lake. And it basically 1,800 feet across from like the beach over to the next property across the lake. You know, like I tried to hit some spots.
Right.
And 1,320 was basically the narrowest lake I could find on that end of the lake.
On the
I
south end.
think wake boats should be on the other end of the lake. And when I fish out there and I'm out there, I try to stay in 15 to 20 feet of water all the time.
And at the 1320, what would be the water depth on average?
That would be in main channel, it'd be that whole main channel is pretty deep.
Okay.
It'd be 15 to 20 feet, so when you got to 25, 28 feet. Depth of the lake is not, it's not a good indicator what the depth of the water is. The north end of Lake Mattoon is very, very shallow, and that's a big area. People shouldn't even be, in my opinion, we don't even go down there to ski. Because if the lake gets down, there's sandbars, I don't take my family down. And we probably wake surf maybe 8 or 10 times a year. It's not like we're out there every day.
Okay.
And I could,
Kyle, you clarify who owns that property on the lake?
Who owns the property out the lake?
Yeah, you talked about the city ought to take care of our property out the lake. We don't think we have hardly,
Well, we have areas that we own
Right.
around the shoreline, again, and then there's, you know, the trouble is, you know, you sell it off, then you're putting more homes and you're more septic tanks, which are going to, I mean, hopefully the septic tanks are better than the older ones and they're better, but there's still phosphorus possibly going into the lake. So, but like I said, we do own a lot of land around there and, you know, the water department purchased that land whenever they built the lake. So we do.
and to answer your question, Mr. Gill, up-to-date septic tanks do not drain into the lake. So people are building septic tanks, they're going out in the leach fields.
They're going to leach fields, but it,
Drain directly into the lake, like what's going on in a lot of places out there on the older areas.
eventually it goes to the lake. I mean, it hopefully is filtered out through enough leach field that it's,
Installing a septic tank, I have,
to.
they're pretty particular on how you do things.
Yeah.
And so I would think that'd be a much better alternative than what I see running in the lake.
Yes, it's better than what's out there. I'll
Write it on there.
Can you address the, or speak to, one, I keep hearing that the wakeboards are being blamed or the sole cause for this, and that's never been the case where we thought this was the sole cause of issues out there. This is
this is
part
one
of a
piece of-
broader.
Yeah, for overall score.
yeah, we'll come back. Whoever's
That was our
talking
first run.
online, we'll give you some time in just a minute here. We'll wrap some of this up and I'll come back to you. Is this Jason?
there's
Just needs to mute it.
Who was it? Okay, go ahead, finish up.
He must not been able to make it from Champaign.
yeah,
So-
there's several, I mean, issues with blue-green algae, right? So, I mean,
So this is one.
but stirring
part
up
of
the bottom of the lake is one cause that helps, you know, spread the phosphorus throughout the lake levels and allows algae to grow. So, you know, to say whether wake boats, yes, I mean, when they're doing wake surfing, we've seen videos and research that says that it does stir up the bottom of the lake up to 20 foot deep.
Okay.
You know,
But then the other point that I was going to ask you about before I was rudely interrupted from whoever's online from somewhere other than city of Mattoon, that the septic tank issue as part of the overall projects and plans moving forward for the health of the lake.
we're talking with the health departments on being able to go out and try to
That the plan
locate
being
those.
implemented as well.
Yes.
So kind of the
There's
monitoring and regulating of the septic tanks is a piece that's being developed as well that hasn't been done in the past.
I can tell you as a property owner, if you find my septic system not gonna be up to code, I'll be happy to fix it. I just bought my house.
Yeah.
I want the lake to be great,
Mhm.
and I don't enjoy going fishing down along the lake. I see stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and, there was somebody online trying to get access. Now would be a good time to do that. Somebody online want to talk?
Yes, this is Jessica Ingram. I have a property on Lake Mattoon, and we have been there since 2016. First of all, I just want to say I'm really glad to see that the council members have been taking some initiative to make changes. But I think that wakeboard or wakeboat ordinances are putting a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem. I think that everybody that is talking to the committee right now has talked about the problem with erosion, and erosion is the primary issue. Shoring up the shoreline needs to be taken care of first. And as you mentioned, the city does own property on the lake. The city owns 52% of the shoreline. That is owned by the city of Mattoon. And when we take our boat out, when we're out on the lake, when we're actually seeing the lake, I don't know how many of the council members have actually been out on the lake, have been out on a boat out there. But if you look at the portions of the shoreline that are shored up, those are privately owned property. If you look at some of the property that is owned by the city, there are trees that are falling in. There is no shoreline. There is no riprap. There's no seawalls. There's nothing. And I've been kind of just taking some notes as I've been listening to everybody comment. And I heard that there are 22 registered wake boats on the lake. I'd be really curious to know what you guys have defined as an actual wake boat, because are we actually banning wake boats? Are we banning boats that create significant enough wakes to ski or to wakeboard? Where and also where does that stop? Are we going to end up having to ban additional boats in the future?
Let me comment just real. The ones that we have registered as wake boats, they indeed are wake boats, as I understand. Is that right, John? The 22 wake boats that we show, they really are wake boats. They're not fishing boats. They're not ski boats. They're not pontoon boats. Yeah. Okay. So we feel like those are wake boats, and we're not planning on taking ski boats or fishing boats or sailboats or pontoon boats or. No, we're not talking about taking anything with all those boats off the lake.
Okay, and I appreciate that. I will take you at your word for that. But if you look at the SurePost environmental letter, the Appendix A that you guys listed in your council member packet, in 2003, during the last water survey, it was calculated or projected that Lake Paradise will be completely filled in with sediment by 2118. And Lake Mattoon will be completely silted in by 2291. So we're talking within 100 to 150 years or so, 270 years, that there will be no more lakes. And so that is going to create you're going to have to ban boats. How are boats going to get on the lake that doesn't exist any longer?
We are doing studies. Yeah, we are doing studies.
I appreciate that. And I see that you guys are doing the watershed survey right now, but I feel like starting to create regulations for wake boats is only putting a Band-Aid on a much, much bigger issue. And I feel like if you are going to make those types of regulations, those shouldn't be put in place until the next watershed plan has been put in place that's being paid for, that you guys are working on right now, that isn't expected to be done until July of 2027.
Ma'am, I'm you had about 3 minutes. Where did you say you were from?
I am from St. Louis, but I have a lake house on Lake Mattoon, and I've been there for 10 years now. Jessica Ingram.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you.
I think one thing that maybe we need to share, because not everybody has been here at every single meeting that we've talked about this. This started early last year, and maybe even years before that, where other people who lived out at the lake were coming to us because their properties were being damaged. So they had shored up their seawalls. They had put riprap up there. So that's where this initially started. And I don't know that we shared that today, but we are looking at putting up riprap. We are looking at how can we shore up our shorelines? What is that going to cost the city? So I think that the city as a whole would recognize that we do play a part in this as well. And I just wanted to say that we do own our part of it. So for what it's worth.
Thank you. Let's keep going. Get to the next party over here that wants to speak. Okay. Howard,
Hello again,
yes.
Laird, and I own a home on the south main body of Lake Mattoon. At the last meeting, I spoke on behalf of the Wick Boat Committee, primarily about water quality. But today, my comments are focused more on shoreline erosion in response to Councilmember Felder's comment during the last meeting, and thank you for your comment just now. And I appreciate erosion concerns as they directly affect my property. And I and most Wick boat owners, as you heard tonight, recognize that these boats can and will cause erosion if operated poorly. The committee and I heard concerns and took them to heart, and everyone at those meetings, everyone wanted to decrease erosion in the lake. The difference was how we achieved that. For wake boats, erosion is mitigated by increasing that distance from shore. For context, the wake boat activity seasons mostly 15 weekends during the summer and rare weekday use. That use is concentrated in an 8-hour window each day due to daylight temperature, and compared to other navigable thunderstorms, that's a relatively small amount of time. The lake's north-south orientation allows winds to travel over a mile without obstruction. The crosswind still travels a quarter mile unimpeded. And a 2015 study that's been recognized showed the wind-driven waves, specifically 20 miles per hour or more at 1 mile, can carry more energy than wake boat waves. National Weather Service data shows wind speeds exceed 20 miles per hour over 10% of the time in March and April alone. Average April wind speeds 12.5 miles per hour, and today's a windy day as well. Research from University of Minnesota quoted the last meeting showed that 600 feet from a wake boat, wave heights are 5 to 7 inches. At that same distance, non-wake boats produce waves of 4 inches or less. That's a difference of just 1 to 3 inches at 600 feet. Meanwhile, typical whitecap waves on inland lakes reach 1 to 2 feet, twice the height of a wake boat wave 600 feet from shore. On April 12th, I reported 1 minute of wave activity during a windy day at my property and counted 38 waves hitting the shoreline at or near whitecap levels. That frequency far exceeds anything that would be seen during the wake boat weekend day. At my property, the most noticeable erosion happens early in spring, before most boats hit the water, and after major summer storms. Wake boat waves are more visible because these boats operate on calm, windy days and nice weather when people are outside. In contrast, the largest wind-driven waves occur during windy, stormy conditions when few people really see the evidence of those waves. There's also a new University of Minnesota research study comparing wind-driven and boat-driven erosion that's expected to be published within weeks. We'd be happy to present those findings to council as I did before when they are available. Given this, I would respectfully ask City Council to delay any permanent decisions until that data and observations from this season at Lake Mattoon can be reviewed, allowing for a true evidence-based approach. Proposing a there's balanced, data-driven, practical solution that really creates a win-win for the city of Mattoon, the property owners, and our boating community. Thank you.
Thank you. You might have questions. All right, go to who's next? Come on. Nick, you.
Hello, my name is Nick White, and I live at 82 Shorts Drive. I'm just going to read my presentation here. So, hello, my name is Nick White. I was the co-chair of the Wake Boat Committee. I do not own a wake boat. I do live on the lake and participate in many other forms of water sports, including wakeboarding, water skiing, tubing, and just general boating. I know from the rumor mill that most everybody here is ready to vote yes on this proposal. And at the surface, I think it sounds great. It's quick, it's easy, it's free, it's properly solved. One of the many puzzle pieces you were working on is solved. But I think if you really examine the situation and dive a little deeper, what seems like a benefit actually hurts the one thing that we were all trying to do and preserve, which is the quality of the lake. How can that be? Well, hopefully I can point this out with a couple points and change your mind just a little bit. Point 1, erosion and lake bed. We all know, everyone in this room, that wake boats contribute to the disruption of lake bed and erosion. It's in report after report. Anyone that stands up here and says anything different is lying. But the question is, how much is there? And how much is it? And is there anything we could do to offset it? Luckily, in all these reports, something that seems to get overlooked are ways to mitigate the damage that it causes. And using these exact same data and science. In the most inclusive, widely referenced, the one from the University of Michigan, it doesn't say to ban wake boats. It says to use wake boats in 20 foot of water, 500 to 700 foot from the shore. Does anyone here know, that's the question, the height of a fully ballast wake boat when it hits the shore, the wave, when it hits the shore from 600 feet? I did not. So I asked ChatGPT, and the answer that it gave me was 5 to 10 inches. What I find, which I was amazed, it's 5 to 10 inches. But even more surprising was that it had the exact same impact of a standard ski boat at 200 feet. So a ski boat at 200 feet has the exact same wave energy as a wake boat at 600 feet. Do you know what is legal? Ski boats at 200 feet. So I ask you, how can you ban wake boats 600 feet from the shore when you allow ski boats 200 feet from the shore, and it's legal and they produce the exact same waves? I get it. People don't want their shorelines damaged. They don't want the lake bed disrupted. They don't want their docks hammered. Neither does the wake boat community. That's the purpose of the mitigation. Luckily, this rule is already in the proposal that you have in front that you're voting on tonight. 600 feet, 15 foot. I'd say at 600 feet, most of the lake is 20 foot.
You got how many points to make?
I got one more point.
Okay.
Now, a little different point. So let's step away from the lake just a little bit. How much sense would it make for you to take part of a town and just talk about Mattoon? How much sense would it make to take part of the town that needed some upkeep and repairs and said, let's ban the wealthy people from coming in and investing in the area? It wouldn't make any sense. One of the things that we can all agree on is wake boats are insanely expensive. What type of person can afford to spend that much money on a boat? A person with disposable income. What else does a person with disposable income do? They build seawalls. They replace outdated septic tanks. They buy rundown properties and sketchy lake cabins, dumping straight sewage into the lake, and build nice new homes with new septic tanks and fancy new docks. I've been on the lake my whole life, and just recently has been a real turnaround. Nicer houses, better seawalls, the prices of lots are all on the rise. You say water quality and erosion is your biggest concern. Why turn away the people that are going to help you do that? You say you don't have the money to. They do. Let them do the work. Let them pay for the repairs. So how can we make this work? I see both sides. No one wants giant waves crashing into their docks. No one wants algae blooms enhanced. We all want to see the lake thrive. We want cleaned up shorelines, cleaner, nicer, safer water to drink and enjoy. I think the answer is simple, the mitigation. Use the same studies that struck the fear into everyone, but the second half of the studies, how to operate wake boats without actually damaging the lake. And I ask you, if you asked us, the wake boat committee, to come up with a compromise, and you—
Nick?
One more paragraph. One more thing, sorry. You asked us to come up with a compromise, and you incorporated it into your proposal. Let's do that. Let's see if the proposal works. Let's give it a chance. Please, I ask you, pass the proposal with just one minor change. Leave out paragraphs 3 and 4, but don't throw them away. Take them out and vote on them when they're set to start after December 31st, 2026. You're not really giving anything up. Give it a year. See if what we have already built into the proposal and see if it works. Does permanently banning something without giving it a chance? See if there's another algae. See if there's less than—
That's a long paragraph, Nick.
And see if there's property on the damage. So I ask you, Rick, or I ask you, think about paragraphs 3 and 4 until next year and vote yes on the—
Yeah, if Nick wasn't such a nice guy, I mean, he's worked, I'm telling you, he's worked and others have worked hard on this thing. And we take this seriously, but we also need to keep moving and keep this thing going. But I appreciate it. Yeah, well,
Nick, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You want the wake boaters to pay for the repairs? I think the estimate was somewhere around $500,000 for riprap.
No, I'm
Are
saying,
we taking up a collection?
no, I'm saying,
How
let the wakeboarders
Fix their.
buy the properties. If you ban wakeboarding, you're gonna lose all those people. They're not gonna invest in the lake. I know what you're, I get. And also,
okay.
you know, it was 500,000, was it right? $500,000 was what the riprap was.
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
Roger just informed us that I hope he doesn't mind. He's spending over 100, almost 150,000 on his seawall.
Thank you.
Just so you know.
Thank you.
Probably overrun my time, appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. You want to talk also? Is that right? The guy in the second row? No, right behind the guy in the white shirt. Did you want to talk?
Yes.
Okay, let's try to start at the front and go to the back. So you go ahead and go next. We'll get back to you.
My name is J.D. Rubio. I live here in Mattoon. Just a couple quick questions to Commissioner Butler's comment, Mr. Gill, and then the treasurer as well. What investments has the city or city council made since this was brought to light to improve their portion of the lake? And then what action plans are coming forward for these next?
So we're approving a $185,000 study, tonight. We've invested in hiring an engineer on treating the water at the treatment plant as one thing, as well as engaging engineers, talking with the EPA on studying ozone, but that's just treatment at the water treatment plant. As far as the lakes, we're doing the study, we're doing a bathymetric study to find out how much sedimentation is in the lake, the actual depth of the lakes. We haven't done that for over 10 years. So whatever that study comes out and shows, we'll be working towards, what can we do to help solve some of the sediment problems. Filter strips have been talked about. We're working with the watershed study to see about filter strips, wetlands, everything's on the table. So, we are investing in studies right now to give us a better idea of what's going to be most cost effective. As far as shoreline, a couple of years ago, we got a OSLOD grant that did some of the riprap around the marina and continue to ask for grants on that. We spread it out. We did ask for an OSLOD grant for something else this past year, but the thought is to going forward, we'll continue to do that. And then with the watershed, it's supposed to open up some other granting abilities too for riprap. The 3119 grants or 319 grants is what we're looking at as well. So as well as trying to see what we can put in out of the water fund budgets, but again, we're working on some of the expensive stuff on treatment too, so balancing those.
Okay. Let's see. Now we had someone in the third row, or are we going back to the fourth row? Okay, late.
All right. Everything prepared, but whatever. I'll just jump over here. Name's Matt Miller, Matt Toon, 3417 Powell Lake's my address. My family's had property on the lake since the lake was built back in the 60s. I guess I don't know if anything I could say would change anybody's mind on, banning the wake boats. I don't have a wake boat. I have a ski boat. I'm not going to get into all the details or science behind everything, but I guess my thought is we've got people that own property out there that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, buying the property, putting in seawalls, maintaining the lake. They buy expensive wake boats. Everybody out there's kind of built a lifestyle around the sport. And I was just hoping that you would consider, if the ban does go forward, like grandfathering in the people that have been out there for years, maintaining the lake and enjoying it. That's the only thing I haven't heard brought up yet, so I don't want to repeat anything anybody else has already said, so.
Appreciate your comments, though. Okay, now we go back. The young lady that is anxious to get up here.
Hello. My name is Lisa Rector. I live at 3583 East 894 North on the lake. Thank you all for your time and for the opportunity for us to come up here and address our concerns regarding this proposal. At a previous meeting, we were encouraged by your confidence that a balanced solution could be reached, one that would work for all voters. Unfortunately, this proposal suggests that we're moving away from that goal. I have spoken with representatives from the National Marine Manufacturers Association who regularly work with state and local governments just like you to craft fair and effective ordinances. The data and studies they reference consistently show that when operating more than 200 feet from shore, the wave impact from a wake boat during wake surfing activity is comparable to that of fishing or ski boats operating at similar speeds at 100 feet, which is even closer. And those activities are not being considered to be banned. So banning wake surfing is not going to make the erosion problem go away completely. I was also informed that the proposed ordinance would be more restrictive than any current wake boat regulation in the entire country. Several states have adopted statewide reasonable setback requirements, typically around 200 feet, but none have enacted a full ban. In fact, attempts at more extreme restrictions have led to ongoing legal challenges, including cases in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Other local bans are also facing litigation. Given this context, the proposed ban feels disproportionate and risks appearing arbitrary, favoring one group of lake users over another, rather than seeking a balanced outcome. I do understand and recognize that our boats create wake that may be contributing to erosion. And with reasonable alternatives and restrictions in place, we can eliminate them rather than going to a full extensive ban. We would all like to resolve this issue and move forward. I am confident we can figure out a reasonable and balanced solution tonight. If the ban passes, the wake surfing community is prepared to continue engaging with you, including exploring legal options and working with these national organizations. I don't think any party wants that, and quite frankly, I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing from us and seeing us. I think we're all ready to put this to bed. I respectfully urge you to consider this amendment of the proposal to achieve a fair and practical compromise that allows all residents to enjoy the lake responsibly. There are several reasonable alternatives worth considering that address environmental, safety, and property concerns. I emailed this to all of you today, and I have copies. If we can pass those down, thank you. So this is our proposed amendment. The minimum water depth requirement of 15 feet, shoreline setback of 400 feet, maintaining a minimum distance of 400 feet. By the way, the National Association of State Boating Law Administrators recommends only a 200-foot setback for wake surfing.
We've got copies of all this. You're up to your 3 minutes, but we'd like to proceed, and I don't really want to cut you off. We've got the information.
Okay.
So going over it and reading it, what we've already got.
Can I make my final?
Sure you can. Wrap it up.
It seems premature to prohibit the activity entirely without first attempting solutions like this in the proposal. In an increasingly divided world, this is an opportunity to pursue a thoughtful, data-driven solution that reflects compromise and mutual respect. The research exists and a balanced path forward is achievable. I hope you'll keep that in mind as you make your decision tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question. Were you on the committee?
I was not.
Okay. Did you attend any of them?
I did not.
Okay. Oh, we got somebody else. This isn't fair.
He's passionate.
Go ahead.
It'll pick you out.
Hi, my name is Kinsey. I live on Lake Mattoon, and I have been wake surfing since I was 7 years old. Some of my favorite memories with my family are surfing. I feel very safe when I'm surfing. It would be heartbroken if I could no longer surf. When I heard I may not be able to do my favorite water sport, surfing, I was very upset. My parents told me I could come up and speak and make a request. When I'm disagreeing with my brothers, my parents tell us to find a solution and work it out together. If I can do that with my brothers, then I'm confident we can do that also with our boats. I request that you can find it in your heart to find a solution that works for everyone on the lake. Thank you.
Very good.
Nice job.
I hope everybody learned a lesson from that young lady. She stayed under 3 minutes. And I believe everything she said, by the way. All right, that's, who else back? Anybody back there? Yes, please come up.
I will keep it quick if I have to use the restrooms.
We want you to keep it quick.
Chris Evangelisti, 3576 East 894 on the lake. We've been there since 2011. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with you all. I want to go back to kind of the 22 boat wake served boats. Each year, the city issues approximately 1,000 to 1,200 boat stickers for the lake. Of those, only about 20 or 30, which this year is 22, are for wake serve type boats. Roughly 2% of all permitted vessels. Even more telling, only 12 to 15 of those wake type boats are regularly active on the lake, mainly on weekends, back to many points about it being 15 weekends a year. That means that just 1.5% of all permitted boats would ultimately face restrictions and a potential ban. I appreciate the board's recommending targeted solutions. I'm a fisherman. I love being out on that lake and definitely wanted to be there for long term. So, you're talking about such as distance and depth restrictions for the remainder of this season. However, moving forward to a full ban effective December 31st, 2026 still raises concerns about proportionality. Obviously, erosion on Lake Mattoon is a complex issue. Influenced by many factors, wind-driven waves, water level changes, watershed runoff, shoreline vegetation loss, and general boating activity from all vessels, not just its very small group. Before implementing a permanent ban on such a tiny fraction of lake users, I respectfully urge the board to table this item and have additional time for continued review, which would include gathering lake-specific erosion data and evaluating whether targeted distance and depth rules provide lasting protection without eliminating a lawful recreation for a small number of residents. Thanks for your time and careful consideration, considering these facts and fairness for all those enjoying Lake Mattoon.
Thank you. Anybody else way back?
Right to the back.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Come up and say who you are. And
I'm Jason Lowell, 31 Lockhart. I know you guys are going to be tired of me representing. I didn't wear my shirt. We did launch the hats. Matthew.
That's good.
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah.
Technical question, Mr. Butler. You mentioned that there were multiple complaints about erosion.
Yes.
Is that correct?
About damage to their properties.
Okay. I guess my question is, in November of 2025, I submitted a FOIA request asking for 5 years of complaints to the city, and I received none.
Did you get the city council meeting? Because that's where they were at.
They should have all been included in the FOIA request. And actually, what really bothers me about that is that on August 8th, my attorney wrote a letter to the city. It was received on August 11th, complaining about the status of our property and requesting a meeting, and it was summarily ignored. And I didn't get a copy of that in the FOIA either. So I guess my question for you is, can we see the complaints?
Honestly, that's not a question for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything that we have access to, yes, we will give. I mean, I don't think we have to go back and research all the meetings, so to speak, online that we have that. But any written document that we have, we would provide.
Yeah, I would appreciate it.
So you are with Friends of Lake Mattoon, right? Is that what you do?
I'm there now. So I've been trying to work with the city on this in a number of different ways and haven't been able to connect. So Mayor Hall, he and I connected in November, talking about the Wake Boat Committee. He mentioned Friends of Lake Mattoon. We got everything involved there. And now I'm leading the conservation committee.
What is Friends of Lake Mattoon's mission?
Recreation, restoration, and preservation. So unofficially, as part of the group, I'm not speaking. I'm speaking to me personally.
Okay.
I want to make that clear. Friends of Lake Mattoon is taking no stance on this.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's see. Darcy, did I see you stand up back there? Hi.
Good evening, Darcy Cather, the grant writer here at Mattoon. I live in Neoga, Illinois. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but there has been many questions regarding what the city has been doing, and there has also been assumptions that this is a sole problem and a sole solution. So I would like to speak briefly on the city's approach. The city is taking a comprehensive approach. They just completed the strategic plan recently, which will be presented later this evening. One of the top priorities in the city plan is maintaining the quality of water and maintaining the stewardship of our lakes. In addition to that, we are in the process of completing the comprehensive plan, and one of the top 5 areas identified in that plan during the survey, which has received, I think, about 800 or so responses. One of the top priorities is maintaining quality, clean, accessible water. So this is a priority for the city. Many times people think that this is a quick solution, right? And there's this assumption that, the city has not been doing anything since July. And I would like to put those assumptions to rest because they are erroneous. The reality is that since the water crisis, the city has been taking many different multi-pronged, multifaceted approach. As the grant writer, we have applied for many different grants. We have applied for a watershed management grant through the IEPA. We have received funds through Earthrise, and we will be moving forward with the watershed management plan this evening. In addition to that, we have petitioned Congressman Miller's office as well as Congresswoman Duckworth's office as well for ozone technology funding, so that way we can make critical, vital upgrades to the water treatment plant. The city's approach is not just on prevention, but it's also on treatment. So we're looking at both the source water and at the water treatment plant. So this is not just, as keeps being referenced tonight, one solution, but really it is a puzzle where we have to bring all of the pieces together. And thus we are looking at, we are in the process of installing GAC filters at the water treatment plant. We will be beginning an ozone pilot study with the hopes of receiving full funding that we can implement that in 2027. We're moving forward with the watershed management plan for Lake Paradise and Lake Mattoon, which will then position us to apply for 319 grants through the IEPA. And we've been working in very close coordination with the Illinois EPA, as well as the Soil and Water Conservation District. Heather McFarland and I have recently completed an 8-week watershed management, watershed training program through the Illinois Extension Center. And during those 8 weeks, we have heard from many different scientists from the University of Illinois. And one thing that keeps coming back, that they keep coming back to, is it's not just one thing. Yes, it is nutrients in the water, it's phosphorus, it's sedimentation, and so on. But in addition to those things, when they talk about, limiting, changing farming practices, implementing cover crops. But one of the things that they did recommend in that 8-week training was that wake boats be restricted as well. So that specifically wake surfing, and it presented research on that. So, thank you all for the opportunity to go and learn, as well as all that you're doing. I appreciate that and the opportunity that everyone can share their opinions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other final comment?
Can I have my other minute and a half?
Yeah, we'll give you a minute. If you can do that.
All I say is, with all this information, it is a pro and it is a con. We can take the data and we can compare what everybody has said here, that it doesn't cost any more than a ski boat, but that's a shallow wake. It's not a depth wake, like a low wake boat. And they can argue that, and then we can argue that. And there's so much out there. I had to train myself for what, or teach myself what wakeboarding was, because I never knew about it. And I'm like a dog with a bone. I just went down the rabbit hole. And there is so much out there. It depends who you talk to. For pro. It depends who you talk to for the information for con. So I think she has covered it all. But I do want to mention, if anybody's got a dock that's going to rebuild their dock, the water department, Heather McFarland, would like to have your old dock. They're going to build a plant formation. I don't know exactly what I forgot what she told me it was, but they're going to float it and filter the water. That would help. That is a great thing. So if anybody's got an old dock, please donate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so next steps. We're done with the presentations from the audience at this point. I think we've covered many of these subjects multiple times. Many of the things you mentioned are already.
Online, are you going to go online?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, is anybody online want to speak that hasn't talked?
Hi, my name's Melissa Adams, 3585 East 88 North Road, and I have been enjoying Lake Mattoon for about 46 years, and now get to enjoy it with my children, and hopefully someday their grandchildren. So I'm well vested in preserving the lake, but we do enjoy our water sports and getting to use our boat. And people have presented some excellent research tonight, so I won't reiterate all of the available information out there about how you can mitigate the risk of any potential erosion with wake boats and how other factors are much more significant than wake boats, but would just request that all of the information be utilized before a decision is made. And just looking at the proposal, I mean, just the definition of a wake boat leaves so much open for interpretation. And to the point that I think it was Jessica made earlier, I mean, how this could be interpreted could limit much more than I think what is intended. And I know the question was asked earlier, well, is it really intended just to do this kind of boat? And I said, well, yeah, well, that's the intention, but that's not how it's written. So I just hope that everyone considers all of the information and the facts, as well as what potential wording and how it is proposed now could be problematic in itself before they would make any decisions.
Okay, is that it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, it looks like we've got a couple more people.
Yeah, just.
Melissa, let's let you go next. Oh, I'm sorry, Jessica.
She's already spoken.
So who do we have? Anybody else? I don't see anybody else.
So I have already spoken, but I would like to just say one more thing. I feel like it was alluded to that a lot of the people that are speaking today seem to think that there is one simple solution to this. And I feel, and I don't think that anyone thinks that. I think that everybody here has done enough research to understand that there is not one simple solution here. And we are not talking about any sort of inaction since July of last year. We understand that all of these things have been done because we've all been paying attention. I think, and I can't speak for everyone, but my concern is the inaction of decades of this lake not being properly maintained and treating the water at the treatment plant year after year after year after year is not going to fix the problem. We understand that there is a much, much bigger problem, but banning or regulating wake boats is simply putting a Band-Aid and identifying one simple problem, because to me, that seems like the one simple solution that the council members and think that we can implement now to make a difference. But I think that based on all of the research that everyone has shared today, that is not going to make a difference if we can't get to the root of the much bigger problem. And I would ask the council members, before you make a vote today, any of you who have not actually been on the lake and been on a boat and seen the entire lake, because some of you didn't even know how wide the lake was. You didn't know where you would be if you were 600 feet from the shoreline. Go
Jessica,
out there and see the lake.
Jessica, I'm going to interrupt. I've been altogether, you've been well over 3 minutes. We appreciate your comments. Many of these have already been repeated.
I'm done. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, now let's go back here. We're gonna be discussing this based on the information that we've got right now. We have a couple of options here. We're gonna talk about that, and then we're gonna take a vote. It is possible, if everybody agrees, it's gonna take 3 out of 5 of us at least to either postpone this or amend it or whatever we want to do. So I don't care where we want to start. We've got a second. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I think based on Mr. Gear's comment, and I think based on some other comments, that the ordinance needs to be revisited, rewritten to clarify a lot of, I don't want to say discrepancies, but the unknowns in it as far as what a wakeboard is, et cetera. So I'd be certainly agreeable to refine it. I do think it needs to be restricted. Darcy made a great point on that, and there needs to be some restrictions in place.
One of the things that we do, I certainly understand where you're coming from, but one of the things we do need to understand, we do need to move forward with something tonight. Otherwise, people aren't going to know what you got. I mean, the season's starting right now. This is before I conclude anything, again, I'm only one vote, but Dave, you got any comments?
Thank you, Mayor. And we've heard a lot of things tonight. The main things that I heard over and over again was erosion and recreation. Those are two things that I think was said more than any other phrase. You know what I didn't hear one time, and I haven't heard from anybody on a phone call, text message, email? Nothing about the water source for the residents of Mattoon.
Oh, I always do that.
And you and I have not talked. But I didn't hear that tonight. I haven't heard it from anybody that contacted me, anybody from this group.
Excuse me, I have my statement.
Well, it was not the highlight of the evening, I will tell you that. And, okay, fair enough. But
and from all the members I spoke to, you were the only one that was on the housing loan subject. And
yeah, I heard very little about
I did bring that up.
You did.
Yeah.
Right.
Saying we didn't talk about it is.
But the focus here is, it is a water source.
Like Paradise.
Tyler, it's my turn. Thank you. I haven't heard one thing about the priority being.
You're speaking to the council now, right, Mr. Cox?
Yes, thanks. Yeah, okay. But I was elected, we were elected by the citizens of Mattoon. The lake was created, paid for, planned by the city of Mattoon years ago. Yes, it's a recreational area as well. I think there's a place for that out there. But there's got to be, the focus has to be on the water source for the residents of Mattoon and the customers from surrounding areas that purchase water from the city. There's, I heard a lot of people say they were from Neoga tonight, but I think there's several that left out the fact that their main residence is Champaign. Mr. Hembry did say he was from Oakwood, Champaign County. I was contacted by a family that's Owensboro, Kentucky. Somebody online here from St. Louis. Our focus and priority has to be on, and I have empathy for the 22 families that have a sizable investment. I really do. I have a lot of empathy for the situation. But I didn't hear one thing about the 8,000, and Alex, help me out, 8,250 households.
Right around there.
17,000 people.
Yeah.
That went through a very traumatic, I would say, scenario last July. We have a business owner here in town that is convinced that the city does not care about her small business. I think she's mistaken, but she's entitled to her opinion. But she is convinced that the city doesn't care about her small business because of matters related to the water crisis. So I think I think there's a little bit of, we're losing sight of the big picture of, I don't want us to lose sight of who we represent and what the focus is. And while I do have empathy for the situation, my focus has to be on who we represent and water, which is a source of life, right? So I don't disagree with Commissioner Phipps that maybe there's some revising of wording that can and should be done. But I encourage us to pass this tonight to move forward, and it can be tweaked if so, but let's not lose focus on what the overall goal is. And it's not one particular issue. It's several issues in a larger, broader plan at the lake. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Butler, any summary comments you've got, any points you'd like to make?
Yep. I want to thank everyone for your involvement. We are all very passionate about our thing. You all are very passionate about your wake boats. We are very passionate about the citizens of Mattoon. I think every single person that I spoke with, I did explain to them, that my main focus here are the citizens of Mattoon, and where are we at as far as water quality for them, and what are all those pieces of the puzzle. So I thank you all for your time. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for giving me your points of view. You let me ask questions of you. You answered those, and I do appreciate that. I do boat. I boat every year, but I don't own a wake boat. That's not my wheelhouse. So thank you for answering that. But I absolutely would support a change in verbiage to whether that's wake surfing. However, we need to amend the ordinance tonight for that, so that we're actually truthfully capturing what is happening and causing the damage. And I just kind of wanted to bring up that tonight we are going to approve our strategic plan. In our strategic plan, we all stated that water quality is our number one. And I agree with you, Dave. I feel like that we need to make our decision based on that and that alone. Because, as Florence Nightingale said, you have to have water, you have to have food, and you have to have sunlight. And that's what our bodies need, and our bodies are what are most important.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioner Clausen.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks to everybody. Strong views on both sides. Appreciate everybody's passion and interest. One concern I have, and maybe if we even consider tabling of this, as you read through some of the changes, I like the 600 foot, I like the 15 foot of water. But it says in there, any violation of this section shall be an automatic revocation of the boat sticker license. I think one of the biggest problems we have is how are we going to enforce this? We have John, one-man department, basically. We don't have, we have Mattoon Police here. They're not going to be out there, I don't think. We're going to have people probably self-report and pay attention. But I worry that there will be, not necessarily the 22, but if somebody comes here on a weekend, hey, let's drive to Mattoon, buy a $75 sticker and put our wake boat out there. That can't happen, right, John? It's rare, but it can.
Only if they gave false information on the registration, but likely not.
It's possible.
Yeah, but we have this section, any violation will be a revocation. I wonder how we are going to, with some good guidelines, how we're going to enforce this. And that is and all you people that are very reputable, conscientious operators, it's not directed at you, but I wonder about others. So that's one concern. And I don't know if that verbiage can be cleaned up, section 3. Just to close, a lot of comments about this is a bigger issue that has developed over 20, 30 years. We are taking steps. If you have a copy of the agenda, motion 11 is the watershed. That's a big step for us. Commissioner Butler talked about our strategic plan. This is going to be our primary for this fiscal year and probably at least one or two more to follow as well. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. I'm going to go through these just real quick to see kind of where we're at and where we go on this. So we do move forward. We talked about postponing, modifying, water source being the number one priority. We talked about the verbiage changes that we do. Water is the most important thing that we have out there. It's not necessarily for use for visitors to the lake. It's to serve the city of Mattoon in a water source. Commissioner Clausen talked about the strong language about the stickers and how we enforce it. I'm going to try my best to summarize what I think the best thing to do is to pass something tonight. One, I think we need to do that because the season is starting now. We want to have people to be able to use their boats now. And if we can live with, at least for this season, if we can live with the 600 feet and the shoreline issue, then we can at least pass that. We could actually drop the part that says anything about 26. So we got something covering this year. We're going to get additional reports coming up this year that are going to come out. It does postpone a final decision, but at least we can go forward. We are getting closer to something here. And I hate to walk out of here tonight with nothing and you don't know what's, people have talked to me about buying new boats. Well, what are they going to do? Are they going to sell their boats? What are they going to do? So I think we need to have a season that we can do something. Would anybody oppose that view? Yes.
I got a question. Are you suggesting we drop the ban come December 31st and
yeah.
approve everything else on it?
Yeah. Yes, that's basically what I'm doing.
And then if we do that, can we revisit the wording on it?
Yeah.
The next council meeting, so they can get some clarification after that's approved.
Once we pass the ordinance, we can change it anytime we want. And having this season behind us, we can at least have some time to think about this. And I know there's more information coming. We got some new legal opinions. We're going to have our attorney look at some of those a little bit closer. But
can I?
yes,
say something?
yes.
So if we change the verbiage to wake surfing, which I'm understanding is what creates the largest impact. Did I get that right? Okay. From the wake boat to wake surfing, do we need to take out the end date? Like, do we need to, can we just leave 12/31 if we're actually taking out what's causing the?
Right. You wouldn't have to put it into it.
Well, my thing is that like, so we started this last year. In my opinion, it should have been settled last year, December 31, but we've chosen to carry it out until right now whenever it's voting season. And I think that's unfair on their behalf. So I feel like if we're going to do this, let's do this. If we need to change verbiage, they still, to my understanding, can use their boats that they currently have, just
Right.
not in that mode.
Well, no, they.
As of December 31.
Actually, the thing, your point, I think is well taken. Today's section B that says the provision from May 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026, it puts the 600 feet and the 15 feet deep in there. And we wouldn't have to put a tail end on it because we're agreeing we're going to come back and revisit this. So we leave that in there. We still allow the surfing with the wake boats.
But the ban.
But only in.
The ban would be for the wake surfing, not the boat itself.
Right.
The intent was never to take the boats totally off the lake. It's the functionality
That's right.
of the boat.
If you ban wake surfing and allow the boats, then those people cannot surf. That's what they want to do.
As of 12/31. They followed this restriction. That's what I'm saying. Like, instead of just the word wake boat, you change it to the act that we feel like, after listening to everybody, has been causing the most damage.
I'm following you, I think.
Did I say any of that correct?
I think, okay, let's, for a minute, let's keep the audience out of it, okay?
Okay, I tried.
I'll never hear that.
We
So
want,
it's whether or not you want to ban wake surfing in the future. I mean, that's really what it's coming down to. Are you going to, we're allowing it this year, wake surfing.
right. Wake
The way
surfing
the
and
ordinance
wake
is written now.
Right.
Wake surfing, it was intended that wake surfing would not be allowed in 2027.
Right.
Forward.
Yeah.
They could still use their wake boat to do wake skiing or
Fishing,
wake boating, but not wake
but
surfing.
that's not what they want.
But that's not what
Right.
I hear that they.
Okay,
Yeah.
so again, we all, what we're doing,
And boat then.
the only thing the primary thing that we're doing here is putting the limitation of 600 feet and 15 feet of water. That's the prime. We do have some things that address revocation of licenses if people don't follow those rules. But I hope those people that want to do this are going to follow the rules.
Well,
Yeah, because if they don't, then, and I know Commissioner Clausen was worried about the enforcement, but I think we can, with the help of you people, with the help of everybody, I think we can enforce it.
Well, I think the intent is, is it going to be wake surfing going to be banned at some point or not? Because if you say you're going to look at it a year from now, you're going to have more people going out and buying wake boats, possibly. I mean,
I think everybody understands in here that these things can change anytime. I know you make a big investment, but you also know where we are on this. You people know where we're at. We're still looking at this thing. If it were me and I was you, I wouldn't be investing in a brand new $150,000 or $200,000 boat. But I wouldn't also rush out and sell what I've got. Because I think people know that we're going to revisit this in the next 12 months and we're going to see if we get more data, see if there's any legal issues we need to address. And that's where I'm at. Does that make?
No, I feel like it's completely unfair. I feel like all we're doing is pushing it down again, which is what we
are.
already did.
We are.
But why?
Well,
You're implementing a rule.
we are. Yeah.
Done
with it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we are.
Let it see if it works.
Yeah, the rule didn't exist. The 50.
Hey,
Yeah.
we've had comments from the audience.
15.
The mayor's speaking.
The 15 feet and the 15 feet deep and the 600 feet from the shoreline is a new rule. And new rules are in the enforcement. We can revoke stickers to enforce that. We can see what the impact is of this decision.
Sure.
By going through a season. Now, weather comes into play. We know a lot of other things come into play, but at least we're going to get 1 year to look at.
What are you going to know in 1 year from this change?
So, okay.
I mean, I guess that's what would we be looking for
Well, we can vote on this.
as a change?
We can make this change
Yeah.
and we can vote on it. If you don't like it, vote it down.
I think.
Or we don't even agree to change it.
I think for me, we're going to monitor who is going to comply mainly with the 15 feet, 600 feet.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
Help me through
someone needs
Got a
to.
motion and a second.
Right.
As is. If somebody wants to amend it, they need to
Okay,
have a motion to amend.
Okay, so does anybody want to amend this? To make that motion?
The motion to strike the end date.
We're gonna suggest what changes we would make. We don't need to make that, we just gotta make a motion to amend, or do we need to say exactly? Okay, all right, so, does anybody want to make the motion? I'm gonna help do this, to take the date, on paragraph B1, take the May 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2026, take that out, and remove paragraph 4, B4, that says after December 31st, 2026, take that out altogether. Everything else stays.
You're talking taking B3 and B4 out?
We're talking about taking B4 out. B3, it stays, well, after December 31st, 2026, that comes out.
So 3 and 4 come in.
Yeah, but we do keep in there, any violation of this section shall be an automatic revocation of the boat sticker license. Keep that in there. We got to have some ability to make an impact. You understand?
I would say in contrast to taking the December 31st ban out, we could certainly go back in later and re-implement that or put that back in.
We can do that,
I think as a matter of being consistent and the intent is, I would go the opposite way. I would keep it in for the time being. And we can always look at that. What's the downside of keeping it in place?
This as it is.
As it is, with the intent being we are moving forward with the purpose of the intent behind it in the first place. And if more information becomes readily available or over the course of the summer, that part can be looked at. But I feel like if we take that out now, it's going to look like we're backtracking or not as serious as.
Yeah.
But I feel like
the only thing we would have implemented would be the depth and primarily the distance from the shore.
And you got to leave that in, Mayor.
And we got to leave that in.
That's B1.
Right.
That has to stay.
Right.
But I think that.
So we really have got a couple of suggestions.
The intent though was to restrict surfing and not wakeboarding.
Correct.
And that is not in this. That is very
so that can
unclear in here.
Right, that can be amended or revised at any point. Right now, that's not, they can still do that this year.
Yeah.
Until December 31st. I'm not sure why we're getting so wrapped up in revising a little bit of verbiage on here. We can do that at some point in the future.
Well, I think because the way I look at it is, as it's written, it's not meeting what the intent of the council was to begin with.
How so?
Because the intent was to restrict just the surfing.
Which they can still do this summer.
Yeah, we intended to do that. We're not taking that out.
But this is also restricting wakeboarding.
Which they can still do this summer.
But next year, that wakeboarding side of it's gone.
Right, so we don't have to change that.
So the intent, again, the intent on this is not, in my opinion, not there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the practicality of it and
We've got two suggestions here.
Let me ask you, Kyle, where you have defined it, this is basically, the definition is that you have it in here, is what this boat is capable of regardless of its use. Is that
Yeah, that's
what you're saying?
that's the definition of the wake boat, yes.
A1. Yep.
So that's the definition of a wake boat.
Okay.
What we tried to do down in the provisions was that, using a wake boat in the manner of wake surfing was what was trying to be prohibited in 2027. But 2027
And do we have that word in this specific? I'm not going to back up, yes.
It says the provisions only apply when actively creating an artificial wake through the addition of ballasts and wake shapers, and that when it was written, it was the ballasts and wake shapers were to create the wake surfing. Yes, I learned that they could be used for changing the wake for wakeboarding, but yes, it was all designed for wake surfing. And then the number 4, again, there's boats that I've been told, ski boats, that you can add on stuff to ski boats to make that wake surfing possible as well. So I was trying to capture that, and it was geared towards the wake surfing. Yeah, anything pulled with this rope, tubing, wakeboarding with it was not the intent of the.
So we got 2 suggestions on the table. One of them is leave it exactly like it is. And if we're going to allow wake boating in the future, we've got to change the ordinance by the end of the year.
At a future point.
At some future point. That's one option. The other one is to remove the change altogether, that it would stay unless we take it further action to remove it at the end of the year. You see the distinction there?
Yes, I do.
So if if we make one motion and it fails, then we go to the other one, but if it passes, then that's the one we're going to take.
But right now, we're still on currently motion one. Nobody's made a motion to amend.
Yeah, nobody's made a motion yet on what. So I'll turn it back to Commissioner Cox. You suggested you want to make a motion. What motion you want to make?
My previous one, I've already made it. I believe I'll make.
Okay, okay.
Everything. So I'm happy to do that. So I would make a motion. We adopt ordinance number 2026-5505, amending the municipal code sections 98.060 and 98.064 to regulate wake boats on Lake Mattoon.
So that's without any amendment to this. Right. We passed what we've got.
That's already there.
Okay. It's already been suggested.
That's
Well,
so
if we go with the vote though,
Well,
we don't.
If someone wants to make a motion to amend it, they can make that motion. It has to be the specific amendments that will be made. And that would have to be seconded. And if so, the council votes on whether to make the amendment.
Right.
The thing, sort of, yeah.
But if we vote on what we got right now and it passes, then we don't, nothing to amend. We've already passed it.
Right. So the question is, does anyone want to make an amendment?
Yeah. Does anybody want to amend them other than what we got right now? Nobody? All right, you made your motion. We got a second. Let's take a roll call.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps,
No.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
No. Okay, that motion as it was passed. So you're going to be wake boating for this next year with the parameters that we've got. It's scheduled to change next year unless we come back here and go through this again. All right.
I'm up again.
Huh?
I'm up again,
Okay.
I believe. Make a motion to approve council decision request 2026-2675, approving mobile equipment fund and revolving loan fund amendments to the budget for the fiscal year ending April 30th, 2026.
Second, Mayor.
Second, that was Commissioner Phipps. Any comments or questions on that budget motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to adopt special ordinance number 2026-2008, adopting the budget for the fiscal year that begins May 1st, 2026 and ends April 30th of 2027.
Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Cox, and any comments on the budget?
No, and it's a balanced budget. Nothing has changed since, presentation 2 weeks ago.
Just a
Okay.
couple questions
go ahead.
there. How does the final budget tie into the strategic plan that we're gonna see?
So most everything in the strategic plan, not everything, but most everything in there is in the budget. We have a lot of this, mainly most of the stuff was with the water. And we did take out the assistant city manager or deputy city manager and the assistant fire chief in this year's budget. They're still in the strategic plan, but it did not make it into the budget to balance the budget.
So those are pretty key topics that came out of the strategic plan, was succession planning.
Yeah. So we kept a couple of them in other departments, but those two did get taken out to balance the budget.
So why did we choose those two, I guess, would be my next question.
Timing on, the other two were, pretty much set on time when we know retirements were happening.
Well, it's not uncommon, and I'll go to Jim on this. It's not uncommon. You put together a strategic plan, your budget's not done yet. If you got to eliminate things, then it's a modification of the strategic plan. If you don't budget for them, unless funds come up somehow, you might not be able to do that.
Yeah, you have a timeline in your plan or your period for some of those things, but you really want your plan to guide your budget process. Really, so you will focus on accomplishing what's in your plan. Otherwise, it's just not having a plan. Right? So if your plan guides your budget, you do it based on what you can, but
Yeah. Okay.
Kyle, I have a question on this. I've got the handout from April 7th, and we actually had a balanced budget based on revenues, expenditures, roughly 26.9 million. Under the city manager, on that balanced budget, which you're telling me it was now, had to be taken out to balance the budget. You had basically $286,000 for the city manager department, including, if I'm reading this right, $208,000 for salaries. So at that point on April 7th, there was a process in place to find another down the road employee in this fiscal year for the city manager's department. And then we come here tonight.
No.
Am I misreading?
Yeah, 200,000 of that was the money from the cannabis. It was not salaries.
Okay, so what's
that was just that's the salary and benefits was the line above. This one is just the star that says that salary is 40% out of the general fund.
Well,
So this is an expense though.
That is expenses, but this does not go. That was just a footnote of that, of where the salary comes from. That 208 is cannabis.
Includes 203% sales tax from cannabis.
Right, but we have 286 minus 2104, 7642.
Or 20.
So
208,000
it's our
is
leftover.
non-salary. So my budget is 208, not counting salary. So 200 of that is the cannabis money that you guys have, set aside for different areas. And 8,000 is other expenditures as in travel, training, paper clips, pencils.
You don't get that.
Office supplies. Yeah, just telephone.
Yeah. All right, I appreciate it because I didn't read it that way. Thank you.
If we want to make an amendment, is that what we do here? I mean, because I would like to amend to add a assistant city manager.
Okay, then you have to have a negative, an unfavorable budget. You have to be in the red.
Well, I think you can, as all budgets, they're not whipping tools, they're benchmarks, right?
And
the revenues, we always are conservative on the revenues. So if we add that position, we offset it with the revenues to balance it.
Yeah, I don't think.
Again, they're all benchmarks.
Yeah, I don't think we're really conservative with the revenues as we have been in the past, but.
If through the years, we get ahead of the revenues that we thought we were going to get, or we save money we didn't think we were going to save, then we may have money to maybe implement it. But this, salaries are an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
And I would recommend, this is based on, we don't have two union contracts settled yet that, we put a figure in that may or may not hit target. And so at some point, we may have to come back and amend the budget anyway. That's something that we can look at once we get those contracts settled. If
We've been able to have a balanced budget for several years in a row now. To go in with an unbalanced budget and you don't know, and I appreciate, that you never know exactly how much revenue or exactly how much expenses, but to go in with an idea that you're in the red, that doesn't, to the public, it doesn't look good.
I'm not suggesting that. I would suggest if we did add, as Commissioner Butler said, the position, then you offset it with an estimated increase in revenue on the general fund.
But for no legitimate reason. We estimated revenue.
Again, if you go year after year after year, we've always underestimated.
Yeah, but when we used the estimation, we had some idea of how we're going to get there. Now we're just saying, let's just take that out.
And I put in a higher estimated sales tax than we normally do, just because, we're having more and more people come to town now,
Well,
I was aggressive on that.
To that point, Kyle, I'm concerned. We have so much going on. And you guys work, and Darcy's gone, but Alex is here, Dave's here. You guys work great together as a team.
Okay.
We have so much going on. I feel like we'd be remiss by not adding that. And I think, with Emerald Acres, with Swords development, with Rural Kings expansion, it's necessary.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's something that we discussed in our strategic planning meeting, and we talked about how important it was. And I felt like I received the information that it was something that shouldn't have been optional, basically that we should do. And so to your point, I agree. As we continue to grow and continue to grow, the need will be there, and the need is already there. And so,
I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
But the very person that's really responsible for those people is sitting right there, and he's saying, no, I'm prepared to do this without those people. You know what? I mean, that's what he gets paid to do.
That's true. I understand that, but the council came through that strategic planning session as well and said, we need that succession planning. So whether it's tonight or 3 months from now, I think it's very important.
Yeah. 3 to 6 months from now, we may know better where we're at in the year financially, and we can amend the budget anytime we want, if we got a reason to do it.
I recommend go ahead and passing the budget, but if you want to look at that and continue to work on that, that's, I'm willing to come back in a few months and amend the budget.
why do you feel like we don't need one currently?
I'm just looking at the financial part of everything, trying to keep budgets balanced. I lived through the times when we had 8 million in reserves, and 8 years later, we had cashed out the last CD to make payroll. I was not in the management position at that time, but I was here, and a lot of people were very worried, and we had early outs, and we let people go, and early retirements. And we had a lot more employees at that time to not replace, to be able to balance budgets. We don't, if we get in that position again, we don't have the ability, we had 300 employees, and we knocked down to 170 and then down to 130.
We have more revenue streams now than we did 30 years ago.
We have more revenue streams, but we have a lot more expenses too. We're under PTEL, and PTEL is a limiting factor where we can only increase the CPI or 5%, whatever's lower. Most of the time, our salary increases are higher than that. Our insurance increases are higher than that. Our pension increases are higher than that.
And that's one thing we haven't discussed or hasn't been brought up in this conversation here tonight is, this is not an annual commitment that we're making when we hire somebody. It's a long-term 30, 40, 50-year commitment, depending on pensions.
I think that the argument could be made as well, that it could improve our financial state, but it definitely puts us in a better position to deal with the number of employees that we have, as well as our growing city, to have Kyle have an assistant. He can't manage everything. No one can, no one can manage every single thing.
And that's why we got good department heads too. We've got, and they work well together. But again, if you guys want to put it in there, give me a number to put in there, and
I would just, I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit, because to me, in a perfect world, yes, it would be great if we could do that. But on another office down there's a reason why Chief Hilligoss has requested a assistant chief. He's got 6 gallons in a 5-gallon bucket every day, stuff to do. Assistant chief would be nice, but it's just not, it's not just in the budget. And I'm a little leery of the message that sends the fire department and the chief if we would go this direction where it's needed. But I also have some concerns about the long-term commitment that adding positions create as well.
Plus, we're still negotiating contracts for 2 of our biggest contracts. And you go in there right now and say, okay, we got to come up with the money, and then they're going to say the same thing. Well, we need more in our contract. But you guys can do that. Just remove some revenues and move some expenses, and then give us what we want. Those don't go away.
I respect, we brought this up last year before we gave a raise.
Yeah.
That exact point.
We are, we do have 6 months of reserves, 6 months of our operating budget in reserves, which is great. the surplus ended this fiscal year very well. And I think when you look at city manager, you could look 15 miles to the east, you can look in Carbondale, Pekin, and we are going into year 2 of where I think it would be based on timing and money to get an assistant in that department, because that is one of our, we talked about succession in all departments. I mean, you think nothing can go wrong, and I hope nothing ever does, but if we do, we will have somebody else in that department to help with some of those things. And, you know, we've talked about this. I know you and I have had several discussions, and I see it as a positive for you as well. So that's all I have, Mayor.
We got a motion?
I would like to make a motion to amend the budget to add an assistant city manager.
Does it need to be more descriptive than that?
There's a dollar amount.
Well, the dollar amount,
I'm asking.
yeah, I mean, you should have a dollar amount that to increase the budget to set in the salary side.
I think the average is what, 80 to 120,000? Whenever I was looking.
I think it's pretty typical to set it anywhere from 10 to 15% below what the city manager is, or what that
Is that right, Jim?
director would be.
Make your motion.
Well, I would like to make a motion for us to add an assistant city manager with a budget average of 10% less than the current city manager salary.
So we're gonna have a budget in the red.
You just said 10 or 15.
So you're gonna have a budget in the red is what you're saying? Is that correct?
10 to 15%.
And you said 10.
Well, it's a good starting. We don't even have a person.
So
I would say,
Make a motion. Use your figure. Let's do it.
I'd like to, if I were making the motion,
Okay, go for it.
I would amend it to include a salary package that's no greater than, I think you're 145, so 120, no greater than 120. That's the way I would approach it. But keep in mind that even if we, and hopefully we follow through and get someone, that may take 6 months. So you're only talking about half of that for this year. So
This year.
right.
What about the next 30?
Make a motion to amend the budget to add an assistant city manager with salary and benefits no greater than 120,000 annually.
salary and benefits no greater than 120,000, you say? Okay.
So again, we're making a budget in the red, right? We're showing a budget in the red. Okay?
Or
And everybody be fine with that. The citizens will love it. And
Can I make a comment? Kyle also is going to, he's getting a lot of pressure from department heads that are drastically underpaid. So I think that's part of some of the reason why he's scared about that, because we're approaching him about salaries that we are not close to our comparables. So I mean, that needs to be brought up as well, because I mean, we're in current conversations about that. He's got to address that issue as well. Just throw that out there. So.
you know, that, yeah, all of our department heads are underpaid compared to other cities. Just like the unions are complaining about, you know, underpaid compared to their comparables. Maintaining and keeping good people, good employees. That is something that we deal with every year. We make adjustments when we can. Wow.
Susan, if you get the amendment down.
And that's.
Okay, you got it.
I just wanted to be.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
so no changes in the revenue side.
I have the motion to amend the budget to add an assistant city manager with a salary and benefits no greater than 120,000.
That's correct.
If revenue streams, as we monitor, thank you, Beth, continue to trend in a positive way, and we have contracts in place, non-union in place, can you bring this proposal at any time during a fiscal year Or does it have to be tonight?
No, it can be anytime during the year. Just amend the budget anytime during the year.
Our budgets have consistently ended with a large
Surplus.
surplus, correct?
Yes, but I will say is when we budget to do a lot of projects. And we never get all those projects done. So that money isn't money that's just extra revenues. It's usually, we didn't get all of our expenditures done. We didn't get all these projects done, so it kind of rolls over to the next year. I would say there's more of that than there is. I have been one to try to give my department heads plenty of money to do their job and have some money but I've always asked them to spend it wisely and, not spend it. When I first came on with the city, it was you spend every dime of your budget, otherwise you don't get it next year. And I've done everything I can to keep it away from that. So that people are trying to, take the citizens' taxpayers' dollars and use them wisely. And I think our department heads have done a great job of that. Yes, we say we're going to build a road and maybe we're going to get half the road done this year. So if you're talking about a $500,000 road and it bleeds over to next year, you may only put 250,000 in there. Well, you're 250 in the black. That's not a true, picture of, hey, we've got, more revenues coming in or we've got a big surplus.
I applaud you for building up the reserves. Help me understand that part of it. If we're showing when the year, let's just say $1 million in the positive.
Yeah.
And yet we didn't do a lot of projects. Why didn't we do the projects?
Just not enough time. Sometimes the permitting process through the state, how long does it take to do, bonding on Emerald Acres? Things always come up that take longer than it should. Nothing moves fast in government, they say. It is. You plan on a whole project, but you don't always get it done in that year. And sometimes it's that 2 or 3 years, just like paving Marshall Avenue. I think we got the last bill on that last year and it's been paved for 4 years. Timing on things is never the easiest.
I think it's important to note that things move slow in government, and that's a positive. That's a good thing because we have to keep in mind we're spending other people's money.
And I've just always tried to look at it as this is the money that we truly believe is coming in. The best estimate we can get off of the last 3 years. And sometimes we try to think, okay, is there some new buildings coming in or? But
Maybe, right? Need a second.
But we try to take what we're making in revenues and spend that.
Who's going to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Phipps. And the discussion we might have is that I think it's a big mistake to go into a year with a negative budget. I think the citizens are going to look at that as we're spending money that we don't need to spend and was not requested. I think that's a big mistake. It's a bad pattern to get in. When it come around to me, I'm going to be voting no.
Again, I don't think.
Would be,
That's all right.
where were we whenever we gave up money for Emerald Acres?
You're getting into something that makes.
Just saying,
got
it's
nothing.
all relative.
No, it's not.
Money.
This is facts right here. We're doing this right now.
So, yeah, and I think it's a need. That's why
Okay, that's fine. Vote.
And again, the expenses can be offset with the revenue.
Sure they can.
And we don't have to go into it as a negative.
So then just go ahead.
And that's a narrative, I think that doesn't have to be made.
Okay, we got a vote in a second. Any other comments?
I have one.
Go ahead. Well, I'm just saying, just to raise the revenue, that totally discounts the work that the staff has done on how they come to that number, either I don't know if it's 3-year average or 5-year average but you didn't just pull out a number out of thin air. There's work that's been done behind that. And I think to say, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's just throw another couple $100,000 in the budget, I think is not responsible.
Any other discussion?
Mayor, didn't we, and help me on this, Jim Art, didn't we talk about this position in our retreat on January 22nd.
We did.
And we were in agreement that we were going to proceed with whatever that position would be to assist Kyle in the second year of his term as city manager. I just want to make sure that's where we were at. Is that correct?
The importance of the position was brought up during our conversation on that second day, but I don't recall the second year in the position. But it was brought up as bringing this position as to the council members' comment. The assistant fire chief was also brought up in that same conversation.
Yeah.
As forming that succession plan. And it is part of the strategic plan. And it was the opinion of the council to fill that position.
Roll call.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
No.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
No.
Now you got to go to the amended,
Now we gotta vote on
the amended motion.
the amended.
Yeah, motion as amended.
Okay, so does someone need to make any?
Nope.
Another roll call.
To do roll call. Let me
Just
get
roll call.
this,
Excuse me. So this is we're voting on adopting the budget, correct? Back to the
Budget
original.
with
With
the
this
amendment.
With this amendment. They just passed to have that amendment.
That amendment, but I seconded the original motion.
It's been, yeah.
Again. I think the amended one was seconded. Dave.
It was that we just voted on. But I just want to make, I want to make clear if we are voting on the budget that I seconded, I would like to.
No, you're voting on
An
the
amendment.
budget that's been amended to add the city
Okay,
manager.
so we need a second.
Nope, it's already been seconded. We just need to take a vote on the final.
I think what Dave's trying to say is he amended the original motion. He seconded the original motion before it was amended.
Right.
He does not want the second, but I
I'm
mean, it's
not-
already been seconded.
I'm not voting in favor of this.
You don't have to.
You don't
Budget
have
in
to.
red.
We can vote no.
You can vote no, even though you were on the
Fair
original
enough.
second. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Gotcha. Good question.
So this vote is for the motion as amended.
All right.
Which is motion 2. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Cox,
No.
Commissioner Phipps,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
No.
Motion to adopt ordinance number, we're good to go, right? Okay. Motion to adopt ordinance number 2026-5504, amending section 51098 of the municipal code to update the water and sewer rates for the city of Mattoon.
Let me get a second to that motion.
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps, and any questions, comments? This is a standard what we're going to do now. This is what we're,
5% increase rounded to the nearest nickel.
okay. Any other comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Phipps,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2026-3338, prescribing contributions required of employees and retirees who elect to participate in the group health, group Medicare, and life insurance plans of the municipality.
And a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Butler, and any comments we have on that?
Just standard thing we do yearly.
All right. Roll call.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2026-3339, authorizing the submission of an application for the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency Public Water Supply Energy Efficiency Grant Program and the commitment of local matching funds in the amount of 20% of total project costs required for grant implementation.
A second to that motion?
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Clausen, and any comments anybody has? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2026-2676, approving the design services from Clark Deeds in the amount not to exceed $495,000 for the wastewater treatment plant phase 1 upgrades.
And a second to that motion.
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps, and anything on that one?
Again, this is just the engineering for that project that's going to be several years in the making. Has to be online by 2034. So a lot of big investment there, and be a lot of grant money and everything we can to try to keep the costs down.
Yep.
This is the first part of a project that may cost $50 million, correct?
53 million, yeah.
We talked about that last meeting. Okay.
Roll call.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2026-2677, approving the water and sewer billing adjustment in the amount of $2,342.90 on behalf of Sydney Wilcott, located at 1000 Payette Avenue due to a leak.
Second on that motion,
Second.
Commissioner Butler, and this is one of the routine refunds.
Right, there were two ones that were adjusted back to back, coming up to that $2,342 figure.
Yep, okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2026-2678, approving the water and sewer billing adjustment in the amount of $12,864.67 on behalf of Barron's Restaurant Incorporated, located at 224 Richmond Avenue East due to a leak.
And a second to that motion.
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps, and
So this was a huge leak.
yeah,
Denny's restaurant property, which is vacant. So they didn't discover it until things got really bad. I don't know the condition of the interior. But the bill was, $20 about.
right. Wow, that's a big one. All right. Any other questions? Roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2026-2679, awarding the 2026 water treatment plant chemicals to USALCO for alum at 30.34 cents a pound, Brentag for ammonium sulfate at 63 cents a pound, Brentag for bleach at $3.04 a gallon, WSU for powder activated carbon at $1.33 a pound, air gas for carbon dioxide at 18 cents a pound, Polydyne for cationic polymer at 87 cents a pound, Brentag for chlorine liquid at 86.4 cents a pound, WSU for fluoride at 49 cents a pound, WSU for permanganate at $1.35 a pound, WSU for phosphate blend at $1.08 a pound, and Mississippi lime for lime at $467.92 a ton.
Very good. And a second to that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Cox. Standard chemical purchases.
Yeah.
Any comments?
Dave, do you remember if they're up or down or?
It's up. I mean, there's some of them up over 30%, some down 7-8%. So on average, you're looking somewhere between 18 and 20%.
Okay.
And Dave, last year, weren't a couple of these affected by tariffs as well from certain countries that we bought this from?
Yeah, I think they were. Some of these may again be affected by the tariff.
Right.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2026, waiving the formal bidding requirement, approving the cost proposal of $158,000 from Spiros Environmental Services, and authorizing the city manager to sign the Bureau of Environmental Agreement for services to prepare a Lake Mattoon and Lake Paradise watershed-based management plan.
Second to that motion,
Second.
Commissioner Clausen, and any comments on that?
Again, this 158,000 is, some funds that we received from the solar, Earthrise. So basically, we are proceeding with this environmental. This will help us get our watershed plan in place and be able to make us eligible for more grants on the 319 plan. 319 grants.
There's a Hawaii project.
Any other questions?
And Alex, isn't this like a 2-year study, if you will?
I think as long as it needs to be completed, but this has been in the works for a long time. When we started this early 2024, engaging this company, so it's one of the keys that we're going to be able to do that. We'll unlock tons of grant funding for the lake, just like how 319 program. Lake Charleston has been largely benefited by that program. So something that we should be looking at here locally. And this unlocks, by having the plan, unlocks our ability to just move forward with implementation as we understand it. So there's 2 different grants with 319 planning and implementation. By having this plan in place, we don't have to go through like a 5-year process. So this helps speed some things up, and next to our community partners at Southeastern Illinois Community Foundation get this funded for prize, get that grant, and then we receive a grant.
So your summary said 319 grants available through the Illinois EPA?
319 program.
Oh, I was going to say, we should have pretty good odds then, but Erica misread it. Thank you.
Roll call.
Commissioner Phipps,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Your turn, Jen.
Okay, which motion are we on here? 12. Okay, right with you guys. Motion to adopt resolution number 2026-3340, approving the second extension through June 30, 2026 of the current intergovernmental agreement with the City of Charleston for our existing water interconnection near the Sarah Bush Lincoln Hospital, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement.
And a second to that motion,
Second.
Commissioner Butler, and anything on that?
Again, we're just trying to look at some improvements between the interconnect, and the agreement had expired. We continued it. We're still working on trying to figure out what kind of improvements that we would make, what is the best improvements to make. And so we've asked to extend this again until we have a better plan in place.
And the city of Charleston had their consultant do some research on one thing, and they just haven't got the information back yet on the main reason.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Butler,
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Now we get a report.
Interesting enough that Charleston Interconnect is part of their 2026 strategic plan. All coming together. I did have a small presentation for you. I know you guys have been really busy tonight, so we'll go there really quickly, but you can go ahead and jump to the next slide. But first and foremost, I do want to thank you guys for your leadership. You guys have a tough job, as been on display tonight. You have to make the tough decisions, and you don't get a lot of paid for it. So you're here because of the love of the city, and I applaud you for your leadership. As Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. So it's truly when you see organizations succeeding, it's based upon the leadership of the organization. But those organizations that do not, it's based upon the leadership of those organizations. If you want a wonderful case study of that, just look at my favorite football team, Miami Dolphins. They suck. It goes to leadership, right? Applaud you guys for what you do, for the creation of this plan. You guys did a really good job coming together as a team. You had your department heads there. You heard from the members of the community. Your partners with you that came out and kind of briefed you guys what they have going on. And you really took a hard look at what you wanted to accomplish over the next year primarily, but also over the next couple of years. I do applaud you for the thought and efforts you guys put into that. During the planning process, we actually identified the vision for the community, as was talked about tonight, the mission statement, as Eric brought up, Councilman Butler, they brought up about what's your vision for the Friends of Lake Sarah. But you guys actually have a mission statement now as well, right? And then the values, organizational values, which I've seen displayed tonight. The purpose of the play basically is to give you guys a roadmap, a focus point of where you want to go. You set the target, and now instead of just drawing shooting the arrow to the wall, drawing the target around the arrow, now you actually have the target and you're shooting towards the arrow. All the decisions that you made, all the actions that you take as a city. And of course, the methodology we used was kind of similar to your partner, your neighbor to the east, I guess you say. Really looking at them annually and making sure you identify your map priorities annually and focusing on accomplishing those and getting reports, based upon your progress and checking in to see where we're at with those priorities, and then bringing new ones, the other priorities to be checked on the board, if you will. The vision statement: to be connected, to be a connected, thriving, and forward-looking community that embraces food. And that was your vision for the city. The mission statement: to provide high-quality, responsive, and fiscally responsible services that protect safety, support economic vitality, and enhance quality of life while promoting sustainable growth for the future of our community. I heard that talked about. You guys are basically accomplishing that tonight as you had that info conversation with the voting conversation. So you were really checking on those boxes and the values. The values are going to guide the decisions you make, the actions that you guys take. And those really came out to play tonight as well. Quality of life, integrity, inclusivity. You heard a lot of comments. You were open to those comments, and you let you absorb those comments. Very inclusive. Service excellence, accountability, collaboration, and innovation. Now, as mentioned tonight, master priorities, you have a list of those. You have 20 to accomplish. We grouped those into categories: water resources, environmental sustainability, number 1. You need to groups all down. Number 2 is transportation and public facilities. Number 3, provision capacity and technology. Then economic development and community partnerships. See, a lot of things that you guys want to work on over the next year, primarily over the next couple of years to get a few of these completed. Some are going to go for a long time. Like the creation of the Star Bond District is going to take some time. Your improvements to the water treatment plant is going to take a lot of years, but you're starting that process. And then in your report itself does indicate things that you guys can do to really implement this plan and to hold each other accountable for the implementation of the plan. And that's happening tonight. You're checking a lot of boxes on some of these priorities tonight that you have in the plan. It says it's showing me that it's not going to be a document that just sits on the shelf. It's going to be a document that's going to be used. And I do want to thank you guys for what you've done in the process of taking time out of your days to concentrate on the future of Mattoon. That's appreciated. And just to quote Henry Ford, coming together is a beginning. You've done that. Keeping together is progress. That means basically being consistent, staying with the plan, and working together for success. Making sure you're working together towards these common goals. Any questions for me?
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for all your help. Yep.
Okay, let's see. We need we need a motion on, I think,
That is me.
Dave, yeah.
I'd make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-3341, substitute adopting the City of Mattoon strategic plan.
And a second on that motion?
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps, and we've heard the explanation of what this is kind of all about. Any other questions anybody has? Roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Butler.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2026-2681, approving the bid plans and specifications for the express drive-through alley project and authorizing the solicitation for bids.
And a second to that one.
Second.
Commissioner Butler, and let's see, this has to do with the alley, right?
Yep. The alley there behind the express drive-through, so
Okay.
take that out to bids and hopefully.
I would just say it was an extremely heavily traveled alley. It backs up every day out there, that alley. I'll give my crew and the design stuff that they spent this winter looking at all these projects. This is one of them that they put together in-house still.
Okay.
I thought they did a really nice job.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Phipps?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2026-2682, approving the bid plans and specification for the Broadway resurfacing project from 14th Street to 21st Street and authorizing the solicitation for bids.
Second for that motion,
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Clausen, and anything on that one, Kyle or Dave?
Just,
I would just say, all you gotta do is drive down there. The road needs a lot of work. It's been crack sealed over and over. And with all the other things we've done down there over the last several years in terms of pre-skating, this is really gonna pop it off by now. Again, if we cross the hall here, wants to put this together, I know they did another really nice job then, so.
Good deal. All right, roll call.
Mr. Phipps?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
I am Mayor Hall.
And
No,
comments by the council, I mean. Ready to go with Commissioner Butler,
I don't have any other comments.
Commissioner Clausen,
Don't have anything, Mayor.
Commissioner Cox.
I don't want to belabor this point. I do respect the majority vote and the work on council and so forth, but I think it'd be a mistake not to just make this point. I think creating a budget at this point in the process, when it's being done for approval, I think sets a bad precedent, kind of down a bad road. I think just for future thoughts and process, I think this would have been much more appropriate to have this conversation a month ago. And I think it just sets a bad precedent,
So
but
just so you're aware, I've been having this conversation,
okay.
not with you guys, with Kyle.
Yeah, that's the
Getting
first I'd heard of
So,
it.
yeah, I
and-
have been talking to him
but
about
he
it.
is present. You could have brought it up at the council meeting or something a month
Yeah,
ago.
the council just,
I assumed we were on the same page after strategic planning because we were all in there together, so.
I would echo Commissioner Cox's views. I think doing this so late, it's a council decision, should have been brought up tonight. I think it sets a precedent, and I think the taxpayers are going to recognize that an unbalanced budget was passed, didn't need to be, but they'll get a vote one of these days. So, okay.
Thank you for the threat.
What'd you say?
I said, thank you for the threat.
That's part of the problem. Let's see, recess.
No, Commissioner Phipps.
Excuse me?
Commissioner Phipps.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Phipps.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. I move we go recess to closed session pursuant to Illinois Open Meeting Act for the purpose of collective negotiating matters between the city of Mattoon and its employees or their representatives, or deliberation concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees under 5 ILCS 120 2C2. And can I get a second to that motion?
Second.
And roll call.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Phipps?
Yep.
Mayor Hall?
Yes, and for everybody that's here, we will be going into executive session. I don't know when we'll get out. We're not going to make any votes or not make any decisions after that. We will simply reconvene and adjourn. So it's up to you if you want to stick
You
around.
guys aren't leaving, all right?
At this time, I will mute and pause the recording until we are back.
Fine.
We are reconvening from executive session. We're ready for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor,
You'd like to make a motion?
I'd make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Can we get a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Phipps and roll call.
Commissioner Clausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cobb,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitton,
Yes.
Commissioner Butler,
No.
Mayor Hall.
No.
All right, that concludes the meeting.
Everybody.